All right, welcome back to this edition of this program where I will try to throw more light because I believe if you have been following the recent trend in immigration pathways in Canada, this is not new to you, but the insight I'm going to bring in this video definitely will be helpful to you out there. So this is an insight into the new immigration pathways that will be launching in January of 2025. Couple of days away, the IRCC will roll out two Canada PR pathways to accept new permanent residents to Canada. Inside, people have been clamoring for the doors to be closed. But be that as it may, you, my viewer, who is desirous of still coming into this beautiful country, is still the onion still lies on you, I should say, to leverage the opportunities that are available while they are still available. Because the immigration scheme, the immigration arena, the immigration landscape changes rapidly. So these two new permanent resident pathways are what utilizing while they're still available. So what are these two pathways? Number one is the Rural Community Immigration Class, which going forward I will call the RCIC, and the Francophone Community Immigration Class called the FCIC. Okay, so one is the RCIC, the Rural Community Immigration Class, and the Francophone Community Immigration Class. So, just as a recap, why are these pathways being launched despite the clamor, the protest, the backlash of citizens to close doors to immigrants? So the aim simply, according to IRCC, is to attract skilled workers to the rural, not the urban, to the rural and francophone communities outside Quebec. So this program definitely is not covering those desirous of moving to Quebec. But however, this present government still feels the need to expand the language called French language outside Quebec and deep down into the rural communities. Now, it's also aimed at promoting regional economic development in these communities. Like we know, several rural communities, they lack the necessary skilled workers in order to push development as it should in these communities. Okay, so quickly, let me just start by giving you guys a similarity because I've taken my time to go through the two pathways. The eligibility criteria, the requirements are basically the same, just a few differences here and there. So I will try to highlight, first of all, the difference between the two in terms of the eligibility criteria and the requirements of the Rural Community Immigration Class and the Francophone Community Immigration Class. So in terms of language, which is the biggest thing, if you are desirous of coming in through the Rural Community Immigration Class, definitely you should aim to score minimum CLB band 4. So the minimum requirement for the RCIC is a CLB of band 4. However, if your TEAR is 0 or 1, then your aim should be to have a CLB of at least 6. So if your tier, that is when we talk about tier, if your occupation based on your NOC, National Occupation Classification, is also in tier 2 or what you call 3, then your CLB score in terms of your English test should not be less than 5. If it's in 4 or 5, then your CLB should not be less than the 4. Now, that is the difference between the RCIC and the Francophone Community Immigration Class, where the CLB is expected to be greater or equal to 5 across all the tiers, irrespective of where your tier um, falls under. So that is the big difference between the RCIC and what you call the FCIC. All right. So just because we are still talking about this tier, what actually is a tier? Now, this is a way where the Canadian government, try to categorize various occupation types and assign them a number ranging from 0 to 5. So, if your occupation is in the management occupation, maybe financial managers, um, public relations managers, advertising or marketing managers, then your tier is 0. If your tier is 1, then your occupation is you are required to have a university degree. These people include the financial advisor, software engineers, and all that. So all these occupations, I should say, that require you to have a university degree, they are covered under tier number 1. So what does that mean? So if you are targeting the rural community immigration class and you are in the managerial position or your occupation requires you to have a university degree, then your CLB should be band 6. Does that make sense? All right. If yes, give us a thumbs up on this video. If you're also in occupations that requires a college diploma, or you just enrolled in an apprenticeship of 2 or more years, or you are in a supervisory occupation, let's say, for example, you're a computer and web technician, medical lab technologies, and stuff like that, then your tier is tier 2. Also, if your occupation requires you to have a college diploma or an apprenticeship that is less than 2 years, or simply you did something about 6 months or more on the job training, such as bakers, dental assistants, dental laboratory assistants, and stuff like that, then your tier is tier number 3. So you should be targeting to have a CLB of what? 5. If you're simply having just a high school diploma, or you did several weeks of on-the-job training, not necessarily up to 6 months, maybe those in the home child care provider, retail salesperson, visual merchandise, and stuff like that, then you are covered under the tier called tier number 4. Finally, occupations that usually need short-term work demonstration or no formal education at all whatsoever. Maybe you are a carpenter, you're into landscaping, ground maintenance, delivery drivers, door-to-door distributors, then you are covered under tier 5. Truck drivers too, I should say. So in that case, your CLB you're looking at should be CLB band 4, which is very simple. Anyone who can listen to me understand should be able to, at least minimum of CLB band 4, should be able to, egg that out. That is the difference between your FCIC in terms of language requirements and the RCIC. I felt the need to, right off the bat, push this out there so that you know the difference. So whatever I will discuss going forward is applicable to the two pathways, the RCIC and the FCIC. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Let's proceed with the other eligibility requirements for this pathway. What are the other eligibility requirements? Like I said, whatever I'll discuss going forward will cover both the RCIC and the FCIC. So, one, you must show the intent to reside in that rural community located in a province or in a territory outside of Quebec. So, number two, you must maintain a legal temporary resident status while still in Canada before applying. There's a recent situation where a student was suspended from school, so he lost his study visa. Um, Let me save you guys details of that story, but the thing is, he's out of status, so therefore he can't really apply for these pathways when they open come January 2025. Unfortunately, so So, as part of the general requirements, you must maintain a legal temporary residency status before applying for any of these pathways. If you are applying from within Canada, if you're applying from outside Canada, you don't have to worry about this. In terms of work experience, you must demonstrate that you have relevant work experience in line with the NOC classification. What is the NOC? It's simply the National Occupational Classification, where the Canadian immigration system has a way of classifying various occupations and assigning what you call tiers 1 to 4 to these what they call occupations for easy classification and assigning some requirements or vis-a-vis some educational qualifications to each of these tiers. Now, it's required that you show evidence of having at least 1 year work experience in the past 3 years. It could be a part-time experience, it could be a combination of full-time and part-time, but what they are asking is that you show evidence that you have worked 1,560 hours in the last 3 years. So however you want to calculate that, full-time, part-time, combination of several part-times or combination of full-time, part-time, make sure that you show evidence of having worked for at least 1560 hours in the last 3 years. Also, your work experience must align with what you call the lead statement um, and the main duties in your NOC. So, what are we talking about? Let me show you guys a quick example before we move on in this video. So if you look at this screenshot, what they are talking about, the lead statement is, take for example, I'm a software developer or a programmer. So I must ensure that my work experience show that I have that ability to design, to write and test code for new systems and software. It must also show that I have the experience that has to do with the creation of foundations for operative systems and running diagnostic programs to certify effectiveness. So examples of the titles could be application programmer, computer game programmer, multimedia developer, software and programmer, software development project manager, and stuff like that. But what they're asking for is that you ensure that your work experience will answer to this lead statement that you are looking at on your screen right now. If we move on from there, they also require you to show that any authorized work experience you must have gained in Canada, you gained that while having a legal status. Let's say you are working under the table. What I mean under the table is that you have no work permit, legal work permit to work, and you have been working, let's say, in the manufacturing industry or stuff like that, then that wouldn't count because you did not have a legal, valid, temporary residency work permit to do that. So that experience will not count. You must source your work experience from any other place where you can actually prove that you have the legal status to acquire that work experience. Make sense? If yes, why not like this video? Give us a comment saying makes sense. Well, we'll move on. Okay, so you must also show specific requirements for your work experience that is in line with your NOC. I've shown you that a couple of minutes ago. So if we move on from there, another thing about internationally trained graduates are exempted from showing work experience. Let's say you came into Canada and you acquired a degree or a master's or PhD or certificate or a diploma or whatever. You don't require to show that 1 year work experience. But however, your educational qualification must not be older than 18 months from the date you apply. So let's say you apply in January 2025, your certificate must not be later than somewhere in May or June 2023. Anything older than that, then you must show work experience. It's not that you are not qualified, but in that case, you must show work experience. But if your certificate is new, less than 18 months from the date of application, then you do not require to show that 1 year work experience. So clarifying the issue of physical presence, if actually you studied for master's or doctoral program and your program is within 2 years, under 2 years to be precise, is expected that you must have studied full time in that designated community. However, if your program is more than 2 years, that is more than 24 months, it's expected that 16 out of the 24 months you must have spent it in that designated community. That's the only way it can count in this pathway. However, some programs are ineligible, programs that include 50% or more credits in language studies, is maybe English or French, program that constitute 50% or more in distance learning, and programs that are tied to a scholarship. Peradventure, you are studying on a scholarship and it is required that you must return home after study, then your program is not eligible for these particular pathways. Um, Also, as part of the requirements for these two pathways, you must get genuine offer letter of employment. That is non-seasonal full-time employment from what you call it now, from an approved employer recognized by the Employment and Development Organization. Also, 75% of your work must be conducted in that community. What do I mean by that? If you have a job offer, and let's say your job offer is in Altona, one of the communities in this program, you can be we cannot be working in community outside Altona for more than 75%. So 75% of your work will be conducted or should be conducted in Altona, not outside. That is also one of the conditions you must meet for your offer letter to count towards this pathway. Does that make sense? If yes, why not like this video even as we move forward from there? I've talked about your tier matching with your job experience and educational background. If you missed that part of the video, please do well to rewind this video and move back and catch up. All right. Now, I've talked about your language proficiency, being that if you are going to the Francophone, through the Francophone part, you have to write the French test and give them a CLB on else or an NCLC of not less than 5. The other part in the rural community, minimum is band 4 depending on your tier. I've explained that. Find that part of this video if actually you fast forwarded and you missed that. So what are these communities that will be participating in this program when it opens? So based on previous past records, because IRCC hasn't really unveiled these communities, but we believe that based on the past experiences and records, these communities will spearhead these two pathways. So the first one is the North Bay. North Bay is in Ontario, Sudbury is in Ontario, Timmins, Sault Ste. Marie, and Thunder Bay. These are the Ontario communities that will participate in the rural um, community immigration class. Also, this community in Brandon in Manitoba was once there for a conference, and was an amazing small community, but not rural in the real sense of rural, but very, very amazing community in Manitoba. Brandon, Altana slash Rainy Land, and is in Manitoba as well. Moose Jaw is in Saskatchewan. Claresham is in Alberta, and Vernon is in British Columbia. Last but not the least is the one they call the West Courtenay, is in British Columbia. So these are the communities we are expecting to participate in these programs when they um, will get rolling, I should say, come January 2025. So what should you do with this information? You simply have to do some work. Take the names of these communities, Google them, visit their websites, see job opportunities that they posted in the past. Because these employers will partner with these communities, they will put out job openings on their website. That is also a way you can secure a job offer for yourself. Apply to these opportunities if they are still current. If they have none, keep visiting these sites as we near the new year, and they will definitely post job opportunities. Feel free to apply using your Canadian style resume. Maximum 2 pages, no age, no pictures, no sex, no religion, nothing. Make it a functional resume. You can do that for yourself. There are resources available. But if you need our expert input into your resume, shoot me an email using this email right now on your screen. I'll be glad to help you. So in summary, both the rural community immigration class and the Francophone community immigration class, they are similar. Difference is simply in the language that both of them are requiring. One requires French, one requires English. Every other thing stays the same. I believe this has been insightful and enlightening. So if it has been that for you, please like this video, give us a comment. Do well to share this video to your family and friends. If this is the first time you've coming across what we are doing on this channel, where we don't sugarcoat anything, we'd rather not put out any video than sugarcoat and give you false hope. Okay, please do well to join our community by clicking the subscription button below. That is the only way we can grow, and that is the only way you can be on the know wherever we shoot out. Time bound information, sometimes it could be very, very short. We look forward to welcoming you as part of our community, where we help you achieve your immigration and study dreams. Thank you very kindly for being with us on this one. As usual, I'll see you in yet another one. Don't forget, click the like button and subscribe to this channel. Blessings. Bye bye.